Help me, Mama.
Hey everybody, this is Emily for Help Me Mama. Today we're going to be going over basic training. This is an idea, principles for basic training for anything that you might want to teach your children or really anyone. I mean, this is just basic training. How do you train somebody how to do something? And with your children, you're going to be training them a lot of things. I mean, potty training, which I'm hopefully going to be braving a video on someday soon, but for now, today I'm just going to use the grocery store as an example because it's hard. It's hard to take your kids to the grocery store, especially when you have 3 under 3. It can be a challenge. But everything that you do in your life as a mom, you're training your children for. So I'm just going to go over my basic principles of what you need to do, and really, this applies for life. If you need to teach somebody to do anything, this is how you do it. So I thought I would give you my 3 simple principles. Number 1 is that you give expectations. So for our grocery store example, you're in the car, you have everybody still buckled in your car seats, and say this is the first day that somebody is not going to be in the cart, but they're going to be outside of the cart. So you make it really very reasonable expectations and simple. So for example, for the first time that we're in a grocery store and I have somebody out of the cart, I will want them probably to hold on to the cart the whole time. So I'll say, Owen, this is your first day that you get to be in the grocery store without being in the cart. I want you to hold on to the cart and do not touch anything without asking mommy first. That's a reasonable expectation for him. It's very simple and clear. And as a 2.5, 3-year-old, really more like a 3, he should be able to do that. I know, baby, I know you're hungry. Number 2, you need to have positive and negative reinforcements. Now, if you're in the grocery store, that can be a little bit more difficult, but definitely when they're doing a good job, I think a lot of times as parents, even if you're not, oh, beauty. I think a lot of times it's easy for us to do the negative reinforcements, whether that's verbally correcting them or some other type of consequence or a timeout in the car seat, not in the car seat, in the cart. So you do need to do negative, consequences for bad behavior, especially after you've given your expectations. They know what you expect of them. If they don't do it, they need a negative consequence. But I think what often we forget about as parents is that our children need a lot of encouragement and positive reinforcement too. And I think that, baby girl, I think that positive reinforcement doesn't have to be anything special. I don't think that you could give them a lollipop if they did a good job, but I don't think it needs to be anything bigger than your affection and encouragement. If you're at the grocery store and your son is doing a really great job following directions, holding onto the cart, not touching anything before he asks, I would say give him a whole bunch of kisses right there in the grocery store. That's all the encouragement that he really needs. If you set the bar low for positive reinforcement, prizes or rewards, you're not going to be, they're not going to be wanting like a race car every time you go to the grocery store. But if you give them affection, that's actually what they need and what they want. So say they're doing a good job in the grocery store, you say, Owen, you're doing such a great job in the grocery store. I'm so proud of you. You pick them up, you whirl them around, and then you continue on your way in the grocery store. But you definitely have to use that positive reinforcement. Ouch, baby. They need to be encouraged when they're doing a good job. They need to know, okay, I'm doing exactly what mom told me to do. I'm being a good boy or a good girl. The third one is a recap. So for our grocery store example, again, when you're leaving the grocery store, you tell them, okay, Owen, you did a really good job staying close to mommy's cart and always having a hand on the cart. You did a really good job in the grocery store doing that. However, you did at times take things off the shelf that you were not supposed to do. And we need to improve on that next time. And you say, can you be very careful not to touch anything before asking mommy? So that's just a little recap of how you thought that they did, what they did well, what they could improve it on, and always try to make this a positive conversation. Be encouraging to your children. You don't want to be like down on them. If they didn't do good the first time, give them hope for the future. You can say, Mommy will help you with this next time, or I have an idea to help you do this next time. Always be self-reflective for, not just for you, but for also your children, how you might be able to help them. You want to see yourself, baby girl? Yeah, you can see yourself. There you are. So just as a recap for you ladies, when you're training your children to do anything, number one, give them expectations. Make sure that those expectations are reasonable and simple enough for your child to remember and understand. Number two, positive and negative reinforcement. And number three, give them a recap. Make sure there's lots of encouragement, and definitely tell them ways that they could improve and ideas that you could both work together to make those improvements. And lastly, especially with your toddlers, make it fun. If they had like a first big milestone of being outside the cart at the grocery store, when you get out of that grocery store, say, you did a great job! And, you know, like hop on the cart with them and ride down the little ramp into the parking lot if it's empty. Or my boys like it when I push the cart ahead of them and catch up to them and say, hey, where'd you guys go? And chase them down in the cart. Make your experience fun at the grocery store. If you make it fun, they will be joyful while you do it. So anything that you train them new, make it fun for them, and it'll be a lot more fun for you. This is Emily for Help Me Mama. I hope this video was helpful for you, a basic training for your toddlers, how to train them to do anything, but in this example, going to the grocery store. Please give this a thumbs up if you liked it. You can also subscribe, and as always, pass it along to a friend. This is Emily and Melly signing off. You say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Help me, Mom.